Aqara is at it once again with yet another new product, and this is a good one. Introducing the T1 Lightstrip. This is an addressable light strip with some really cool effects, and it works in HomeKit and Matter. It also includes a special feature unlike most other light strips that I think Apple Home users are going to love. For anyone looking to add another light strip to your home, and who isn't, then this one just may be the one to beat. Like any other product though, there are pros and cons, so stick around and I'll tell you everything you need to know. Aqara has been busy this year. I mean, they're always coming out with new products, but this year we've seen the G4 doorbell, the U100 smart lock, the FP2 presence sensor, and their first ever thread door and window sensor, the door and window P2 sensor. This is the first light though that we've seen in North America, at least that I'm aware of. This is the Lightstrip T1, which is addressable, meaning it has multiple zones that can be adjusted independently. This works with HomeKit and Matter, which means you can use it with other smart home systems as well, like Google and Alexa, with a compatible border router and Matter enabled hub like the E1 or M2 that's being upgraded to Matter. So right away you may wonder, why Apple Home and Matter? Well, working with Apple Home means that the Lightstrip will work with adaptive lighting. So yes, the T1 is compatible with this feature as long as using an Apple Home. And secondly, I still find native Apple Home products to be more reliable than Matter right now. Matter is the way of the future perhaps, and it's getting better. It's close, but it's not there yet, so to me, Apple Home is still the way to go. The Lightstrip uses Zigbee, which I love because it means it's going to be super reliable, and since it's connected to power, it's actually a repeater so it can strengthen your Zigbee network. The downside is that you do need an Aqara Hub, and this could be an extra expense. If you want something basic that works well but doesn't cost a lot, then I recommend the E1. It connects using USB and it retails for around $40 Canadian. Or if you're looking for more features like a camera, alarm, or an IR blaster, there's lots of options for you. The Lightstrip is a standard 2 meters, and you can buy 1 meter extensions up to 10 meters in total without needing a second power supply. You can cut this down to the right size at 20 centimeter increments. You can also cut and reattach with the optional 5-pin connector sold separately. In the box is the Lightstrip, which feels like a pretty average weight. It's coated, making it IP44 weather resistant, but that's just the Lightstrip and when it's not cut, and it doesn't include the power supply, so probably not something that you'll use outside. You also get a user manual, a controller with 3 buttons on it for manual control, and the power cord. So pretty standard stuff, but unfortunately no clips or alcohol wipes here, which are some nice additions provided by other manufacturers. On the 2 meter Lightstrip, there are 10 zones, and each zone is 20 centimeters long, so no surprise that's also the distance between those cut lines. Comparing the Lightstrip to another addressable Lightstrip, the Govee M1, it's not quite as bright, there are noticeably less LEDs and fewer zones. The colors are comparable, but not as bright and rich as the Govee Lightstrip in my opinion, but the whites I find are actually fantastic with the T1. The T1 has turnable white, and as mentioned earlier, it works with Apple's adaptive lighting when paired to Apple Home to give you that bluish light during the day and then warmer yellow light in the evening. The actual temperature range of the LED strip is 2700 to 6500 Kelvin. The turnable white isn't what makes this light strip special and perhaps the best light strip out there. That's thanks to another special feature that I'll get to soon. I absolutely love light strips. I think they do a great job at adding light to all kinds of places in your home, and they can really be used to change the mood of your space. LED strips are meant to provide diffuse light, so you shouldn't actually be able to see the individual LEDs. You want to install them a way that the light strip is hidden and the light is reflected onto a surface like a floor or a wall. I installed this light strip on a console table in the hallway, which adds some nice light to this part of the room. I made some loops in order to bend this around the corners without damaging the light strip. Setup in the Aqara app was simple by selecting the T1 and pairing this to my Aqara G2H Pro camera hub. Once it's paired, you'll see that it's not only in the Aqara app, but also the Home app. And in the Home app, I can turn the light strip on or off, change the brightness, choose between 16 million colors, or adjust the white temperature. I also have the option to turn on adaptive lighting. This alone is great. I can use it in my scenes and automations just like any other HomeKit light strip, but there's a lot more. It's addressable, so to take advantage of that, let's go into the Aqara app. So here you can also adjust the power and the brightness, but as you can see, now we can choose effects. You can see 6 effects and then the option to view even more. Here are a few effects just to give you an idea of what they look like. You can customize these scenes as well by clicking on the bottom right of the tile. Before you make any changes, you can copy the effect to avoid changing the original effect. Here though, you can do things like change the different colors, the sync effect where there's options like breathing, chasing, and running, and adjusting the speed. If you want to create a scene from scratch, then you can do that as either a static or dynamic effect. So between the presets and customizing your own, you have a lot of options. You can also adjust the color of the entire light strip under RGB palette and spectrum, and find your perfect white under turnable white. You also have the option for music sync. You can adjust the sensitivity and the sync effect, and it works well without any issues based on my testing. If you're more into physical controls, then you can take advantage of the controller, where you can control the power, toggle the light modes, and turn on or switch the music sync effects. The microphone for the music sync is also built right into the controller. If you want a physical control further away from the light strip, then a great option is the Aqara wireless mini switch, which has 3 programmable functions that you can set up. So it's a good light strip with many of the options that you would expect from most addressable light strips. But what sets this light strip apart is how you can bring those effects into Apple Home. This means that you can activate your favorite light strip using Siri or from the Home app. I'm using a beta version of the Aqara app to demonstrate this, but Aqara expects this feature to be available around the time that the T1 is being released. To start, make sure that your T1 firmware is updated as well as your hub. This feature will work with the M2, E1, and M1S, at least to start, so make sure that they're updated as well to the latest firmware. Go to the Scene tab of the Aqara app and hit the plus sign to create a new scene. Click Add and select the T1. Now you have options like setting the brightness, color, and scroll down and you'll see options to set a static and dynamic effect. When you click one of those options, then you'll get a list of available effects to choose from. Select the one you want and then click OK and then save. Give it a name and select an icon and click OK. Then under your scenes, you'll see an edit button. This will take you into a list where you can select your scenes with the radio button, and at the bottom it says Add to Apple Home. Once it's added to Apple Home, then it will show up in your Apple Home scenes, and now you can trigger it using Siri. You can also update the scene in Apple Home to include other lights or accessories that you want to activate within that same scene. Another option to include the effect that you want in an existing scene is by using a proxy or virtual switch. If you have a spare smart plug, then you can create an automation to turn on the Aqara T1 effect when the smart plug's turned on, then have the smart plug turn on when your existing Apple Home scene is triggered. So I can set my chill time scene, which turns on a smart plug, which turns on my Aqara scene. If you use Homebridge, then you can also use the dummy plugin instead of a smart plug. I really like that I can bring these effects into Apple Home, something I wish more smart companies allowed for. This really sets this apart and makes this light strip the best option for a lot of people. Comparing this again to the Govee M1 light strip, I would say this light strip isn't quite as good in terms of colors, brightness, and effects, but it makes up for any deficiencies by using Zigbee, so reliability is not going to be an issue with this light strip, and secondly, that Apple Home Sync feature. Another comparable light strip is the Onvis Kameleon K1 light strip. It has the same number of LEDs, it's a similar brightness, and it has that same scene sync feature. The advantage of the Kameleon K1 is that although it has the same number of LEDs, it has twice the zones. So there's 20 zones within this 2-meter light strip compared to just 10 with Aqara. This helps create some interesting and smoother effects. The other advantage that some may argue with Onvis is that you don't need a hub, it uses Wi-Fi. Personally, I welcome the hub because I appreciate the reliability that I get from Zigbee. Onvis has been pretty good, but occasionally I do need to unplug it and then plug it back in because it's not responding. The T1 is fast and it's reliable, so those no response errors, they're not something that you're going to need to worry about. The other thing that I really like about the T1 is the turnable white and adaptive lighting, whereas the Onvis is only RGB. Now the Onvis light strip is cheaper, so you're going to need to think about what's important to you when deciding which light strip is the best one for you. The Aqara T1 Lightstrip is available today on Amazon.ca for $65 or $50 on Amazon.com. I'll have affiliate links in the description and I have a promo code to save 10% as well. Now that's only available between August 15th and 17th, so depending on when you're watching this video, you better act fast to get that additional 10% off. I've always liked Aqara for their reliability and innovation, and I love seeing them getting in the lighting game here in the North American market. What are your first impressions on Aqara's new light strip? Do you think this is the HomeKit Lightstrip to beat? If not, which one is your favorite? That's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.